So I used to be really shy. When I meet people today and I tell them that I'm really shy, they're a bit surprised. There was a moment where I was talking to someone, I'd been talking to them for 15 minutes, and I realized I hadn't looked them in the eye once. And I tried to force myself to look them in the eye, but it was really, really painful. A lot of people are shy. You might be shy. That's not such a big problem, but when you use it as an excuse to not do things. So I used it as an excuse to not do what I really wanted to do in my life. I used it as an excuse to hide from the world and to hold me back. And I remember one day I was sitting in my room. I used to spend a lot of time in that room. Again, I was hiding from the world, and one day I hear a knock on the door, and it's my dad. He walks in, and I can see by the look on his face that it's not going to be a normal talk. This is not going to be a normal, like, how you going conversation. I say nothing. In those days I wouldn't talk much, and I can tell he's trying to get some words out, and he's really struggling. And finally he says, "We're worried about you, Damien. You spend all your time in here, you don't go outside, you don't go and play sports, you don't meet your friends. We're not really sure what you're doing with your life, and we're a bit concerned." And then he said, "Your brother's going to an Amway conference tomorrow with his friend, and I want you to go. I think it'll be really good for you. I'll pay for the ticket, don't worry about that, but I think it'll be really good, and I think you should think about going." For the last 5 years, I had basically withdrawn from the world, so the thought of going to this conference with maybe 1,000 people scared the hell out of me. I was terrified. In my mind, I'm like, oh my God, am I going to have to do public speaking? What am I going to say to people? Am I going to have to speak in a group? Maybe for you, it was very normal. For me, it was terrifying. But I looked at the look on my dad's face, and I realized that he was right. I was hiding from the world, and I wasn't living my life, and I never want to see that look on his face ever again. So I made the decision that I was going to go. And then even the next morning, I was still scared. I was in the back of the car being quiet to myself, just imagining all the things that could go wrong. And then finally we get to the conference, and it's like this Amway conference, if you've ever been, it's like a big giant church. There's lots of loud music and positivity, and it's like a big church. And I remember there was a moment where they asked everybody to stand up and start dancing to music, and just like dancing crazy, dance however you want. And I was still stuck in my room in my head, and I was watching everybody dancing and getting up and having a good time, and I'm sitting there like, oh, this is stupid. Like, what is everyone doing? I don't want to dance. I can't dance. And then after about a minute of this, I got inspired to get up and join them. And after I was dancing for about a minute, I felt amazing. I felt like this sense of euphoria and this energy that I hadn't felt for a very long time, and I felt like I was a part of something. And it was sort of like an awakening experience for me. It was a rebirth. And when I got home later that night, I thought to myself, and I realized, why am I letting my shyness and this story I tell myself from holding me back? Why am I letting it hold me back? Why am I keeping it from doing what I want to do in life, and for going out there and having experiences like I just had today? And so from that day onward, I didn't let it hold me back. I changed my story. It's like, yeah, I'm shy, but so what? Other people are shy. And I went out there, and I lived my life. I think everybody has stories they tell themselves that stop them from doing what they really want to do in life and stop them from taking a chance. Maybe you feel like you're not smart enough. Maybe you feel like you're too young to do something, or too old to do something, or you're not from the right background. What are you withholding from the world? What is something that you could be giving to the world or your community that you aren't, because you're telling yourself you can't do it? I wasted 5 years of my life, 5 of the best years of my life, 20 to 25. What could I have done in that time? What could I have contributed to my country, to my community, to my family? Who could I have helped during that time? And by not overcoming the story you tell yourself and by letting it hold you back, maybe you're not going to change the world, but you could definitely help your country or your city or your community or your family. So what I urge everyone to do is think about all the stories you tell yourself in your life. Write them all down in a notebook. Every story you tell yourself, good or bad, and I want you to read the stories back to yourself and analyze them. And which stories are serving you? Which stories are holding you back? And how could you change that narrative?